Today, I am sitting down with someone who's been at the heart of one of the most well-loved gatherings in the hi-fi world. We are joined today by Gary Gill. He is the owner and organizer of Capital Audiofest, an event that has grown from humble beginnings into a staple on the East Coast for music lovers, vinyl collectors, and audio enthusiasts. And it's not just a place to hear great gear, it's a place to connect. So whether you're coming with your family, digging through crates in the marketplace, or hopping from room to room, chasing that perfect sound, CAF has a way of making everyone feel at home. Gary, thanks so much for taking the time to chat and welcome
For
to
having
the
me.
show.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah, how's the show going so far? The planning for the show going so far this year?
you. I think we're already at the 100 room point. Last year we had 125 rooms. Um, I think this year, not to be political, but I think there may be some concerns with people about the recent uh, tariffs and maybe political and financial issues throughout the business world. As you're well aware, there's a lot of manufacturers that get their parts from abroad. So,
That's right.
not to get into that, but there are some people that may not return, but I have some new players also. So, I think it'll still be a great show. Uh, the Hilton Hotel where the venue is sold out literally in one day. And then, for the sleeping rooms, and now we're filling out the Even Hotel across the street. So we have a few rooms left there also.
I'm glad I got my room nice and early. And you make a great point about the tariffs too, because it makes it harder not only in the manufacturers, but also the consumers. The price, who pays for that is the consumers, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think what I hear the most is that, people are concerned about the unpredictability. They can't most of our manufacturers, even the larger ones, don't work on, they don't fabricate and manufacture on the scale of a Panasonic or a Toshiba or Sony. They're small guys, and they build, 50 chassis at a time or 100, and they hope that works out for the year for them. So, these guys,
Mm.
they it's tough for them. So that's why, I'm trying to work with them to get them to the show.
Yeah, well said. And I'm sure they're very grateful to have shows like yourself, Gary, that can get them in front of an audience and show off their wonderful products. Before we get into some questions specific about this year's show, can you just share how you first got involved with Capital Audio Fest and what
Mm.
inspired you to take it on?
Yeah, I started off as a hobbyist, and, this will be the 15th year. So my hobby, uh, turned into the Capital Audio Fest. And so what happened was I was hanging out with a group of buddies of mine, and they said, "Wow, years ago there used to be a show in DC in the 80s." And they said, "We need to do the same thing." And of course, you get everybody together and everybody's talking and talking, but I was the one who really put it together. And we put it together, had the first year, it's the Glenview Mansion. There were 12 rooms in a historic building. It was hot. And I still had some of the same vendors, Jeff Fox from Command AV, Jeff Catalano from High Water Sound, Greg Barron from the Real Tape Project. And so, I mean, the list goes on. And then people, oh, Garrett Dews of Border Patrol. So the list continues to grow on a yearly basis.
It's amazing they've been with you for 15 years. I mean, that
Yeah.
that I think gives a testament of how well the show's put together, right?
Thank you. Thank you. I've learned over
Yeah.
time.
Well, we all do. We all do. What do you think distinguishes Capital Audio Fest from other hi-fi shows in US?
Um, I think one maybe due to the scale. I'm not at an Exponent size, but this year we're still going to be close to 120 rooms. But I think it's probably a little more friendly, a little more casual. Maybe that's maybe because of me. I mean, people have told me how they feel about the show, but we have a strong. There's a lot of vinyl guys. There's a lot of uh, guys who just are introduced or coming into the business. It feels. I think there's a lot more camaraderie here. There's a lot more, maybe the intimacy, because we're not in an Expona-sized venue, but we still have a lot of people hanging out and meeting at the bar or in the atrium and talking, and I think it's just the friendliness, the casualness, the interaction of everybody, putting them all together. There's a lot of families here too, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, it's more of a family-friendly event, if you will. I think, those massive events like Exfona, you're just trying to see room to room. You're not really people go for different reasons, but most folks are just like, I want to see everything. And the only way to see everything is you got to move.
Right.
There's no time to network and chat with people or have your spouses with you. That's why some of these events, they have spouses mixes, right? Because they know that the spouse have been ended all weekend.
Right, right.
So the fact that your family can actually enjoy the event with you, I think, is something that distinguishes you
Sure.
from some of the other events in the US for sure. As you go into 15 years, what novel or distinctive features does this year event offer that attendance should anticipate?
Wow. I'm trying to do a few different things. We as usual, we have live music in the Olives Bar, two great bands. The headliner on Friday is the Nighthawks, a real famous regional blues band. Mark Wenner he's a lead vocalist and harp player. And then we have a Baltimore-based Django Reinhardt type. I think they're gonna bring in like 5 musicians, 2 guitars, violin, stand-up bass, and accordion or bandolin player, whatever. But we have great live music. We're gonna have beer and distillery products. And then and I'm doing this year. I was at a wedding in New York a few weeks ago, and they had this pretty cool photo booth. So I'm gonna have a full-scale photo booth all weekend. 8 feet high banner, and so people can stand in front of it. You could bring your turntable and show it in front. Um, or bring your found records. So it's gonna be open and free for everyone just to go in and shoot photos, and then they'll be displayed on a screen up front. So
Oh, but
yeah, I'm trying to do things that people really enjoy themselves, get a laugh out of it, and, continue the family orientation. I also approached a whole bunch of the regional universities, the music departments. So we're trying to bring in new audience. Last year we had Omega Studios, which is a recording school, not a university, but a school. And man, they brought in, I think, 30 or 40 recording artists or recording studio, uh, like engineers, etc. And man, it was great. They had a great time, and it was great to bring in new faces. So that's what we're trying to do.
very cool, Gary. Very, very cool, man. You're thinking of everything and everybody. I absolutely love it. But you're also a guy that kind of has your thumb on the pulse of the community. And I'm just kind of curious to know, have you observed any like notable trends or shifts within inside of the community this year?
I think, and you can see behind me, I think the trend is going towards planers, the planar type speakers. Although I'm quite fond of potpourri. These are the WR1s. I see Sound Lab is coming back. I mean, a major planar brand from the '80s and '90s. Uh, we have two major rooms with Magnapan. Magnapan is they didn't go to shows for like a couple decades. Now they're coming back. You have Diptyque. You have gosh, there's a couple other ones that probably will be at the show. So I think people may be changing from your typical conventional box speaker and or conventional drivers, and then going more towards planers, being electrostat or non-electrostat planers. I see that. Um, there's also several Class D type amplifiers. As you know, I'm still building the room inventory, but AGD is always here. I think Orchard is going to be here, potentially Atmosphere. But there's these new trends coming on board. So those are the few limited ones that I see. But vinyl's still strong, and which is a good thing.
Yeah, vinyl is strong, and, there's been an increase in CDs lately. I don't know if you've been, uh, uh, keep an eye on that, but it seems like some folks I think what's happened is that the cost of vinyl, new and vintage, has priced people into CDs now, So I'm curious to see how that continues to trend. If that's an overnight thing or not, we don't know, but I think vinyl is still very relevant. Anytime I go to a record store or
Oh,
anything, it's packed. It's really
truly,
packed.
truly. Yeah. That's how I meet people, and I bring in vinyl vendors because, I go to these events and I meet them and I'd love to bring them into the show. And of course, you know, people like to page through, they go through all the records and they love the atrium and just getting in there, getting dirty and looking for something new.
That's gonna be me. I'm laughing because that's gonna be me. Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Gary, there's a lot of work that goes into these events. What do you think is the most significant, challenge? And then also, what is the greatest reward when you organize a show like this?
Ooh, luckily most of my challenges have gone away. Uh except for trying to keep it new and vibrant and keep that fun feel to it. The challenge before was finding a great venue, but I'm lucky to have this venue. Um, although this year I expanded across the street. There's two large listening rooms in the Even Hotel across the street. Um, so yeah, there's going to be two major rooms over there. But they don't, and plus a lot of people stay there as well. And it's trying to keep more and more, I'm still trying to get more and more vendors. I'm still trying to keep more products coming in and keeping a brand new audience, trying to bring in all these different people because, you have manufacturers, retailers, end users, you name it. And everybody's able to interact here and try to keep the venue as a fun type marketplace where, if you're not doing business, you're not getting a rate of return, you may not want to come back. But in one respect, you see a lot of these vendors retain their same rooms because, they do good business. They do good business. They meet a lot of interesting people. They have a great time and they sell products. And there's also new manufacturers that come in and wow, it's their easy introduction to a fun environment to meet new people. But I'm always trying to do something a little bit different. That's the toughest part. What do I do next? What do I do next?
Mm. You mentioned something there that it's very related. What I've noticed going to shows is that if it's a good show from a vendor perspective, meaning that they're making money, right? I mean, let's just be honest,
Right.
right? They're there to get a return on their investment. I think usually the atmosphere is better, right? They're more jovial, welcoming. When a show they're not making money, they're just kind of miserable. Like they just kind of can't wait to go home. So I love going to environments where it's a successful show in all accounts, where it's a lot of great things for an attendee to go do. So they're engaged, they're having fun. A place like yours where family can come and enjoy themselves as well. And then when vendors are having a good time because they're having a successful show, it's a win-win-win across the board, right? That
It
you
is.
walk away with a great experience at that point.
It truly is. Truly is. And some shows have different feels to it. I guess my show has developed on its own. It's developed its own feel. It's kind of, I mean, maybe later I pan around my room, but it's sort of like how I am in many respects. I mean, we love to have my wife and I have people over. We listen to music. We'll have a drink after dinner and then turn the lights low and listen to music, and people will realize, wow, that they can really enjoy themselves sitting in front of a pair of speakers and really having a good time. And, whether it's playing a record or going through the streamer, music is a real important part of our lives. And we also love live music too, and we bring that to the Capital Audiofest. So it's all about music, culture, friends, family.
Yeah, I love that. Very well said, Gary. I couldn't say it better myself, man. Let me ask you, for someone who's never been to Capital Audio Fest, what would you say to them to convince them to check it out?
Wow, that's a good question. Do you love music? Of course, of course. Um, I mean, even if you're not in the position to buy an expensive piece of gear, come and listen to music. You're going to have over 100 rooms of people passionate about their hobby, passionate about music. And you're going to find a lot of smiling faces, people that are willing to talk to you about, gear or music or the artist of the month or whatever. I mean, to have Kobas at the show for the last several years, man, right there, that opens up all these different genres of music and the style and streaming, etc. But I'd say it's something for everyone, from headphones to huge floor standers to stand speakers, you name it. And you can generally find systems that are more cost effective to, the cost is no object, price is no object. Last year, I belonged to a local club called the DC Hi-Fi Group, and they brought in a lot of we call it the gateway room. There's a lot of inexpensive, sorry, I'll use the word, they call it chi-fi. These these inexpensive Class D Chinese amps, excuse me, and DAX streamers, and some of them sound pretty good. And it's a good way to get introduced into the hobby, into hi-fi, high-end audio. And who knows, maybe you upgrade one part of your system or integrate it in or try something different, but or put it in your office system.
Yeah.
But there's something for everyone.
Yeah, I love that, Gary, man. That to me is when, it's always nice to go see the things that are sort of unattainium, but it's also very nice when you're like, hey, that's actually could be in my budget, right? And it's something I can actually buy and integrate. It's you can actually go there and say, this is what is something I can actually see in my rack. So I love that. I listen. I love looking at I always say the $1 million car, but I don't think I'll ever own the $1 million car, nor do I want to own $1 million car. It's a lot of responsibility that comes with something like
Get
that,
it?
But yeah, man, I really appreciate that. Now, you said you might be able to show us your room. Do you mind just doing a quick 360 and kind of show us what's in your room?
Sure. Let me unplug here. So I guess I'm gonna walk over here. And I am a vinyl guy. So we'll start off over here. Um, so it's a custom made turntable by Fern and Roby. And True Glider, the tone arm, and the DS Audio cartridge, the phono stage. I also yeah, I live in Maryland, and I live close to Linear Tube Audio and David Burning. These are custom David Burning amplifiers.
Ooh.
Also, I just have now my new upgraded Linear Tube Audio Microzodal. Their Model 3, their latest and greatest uh, preamplifier. So got that. And then my streamer, I built my own Raspberry Pi and and the Holo May KTE3. So
Legendary.
yeah, it's killer. And then of course you see my electrostats, a pair of electrostats, which are my Potpourri WR1s. So I've had those for, I don't know, a couple years. I also have a bunch of other stuff, quads, and you can see I got tons of vinyl. Vinyl all the way around.
Do you have
I have old vinyl in the garage too.
do you have a prized record? Just curious.
Actually, I do. I do. Um, and I found it at a thrift shop, but I now have 3 copies of it. I'd have to find it. I'm a huge jazz guy, but my favorite label is ECM, so I go through a lot of ECM. But being in DC, a lot of African American gospel, early gospel that's like blues gospel, like heart wrenching gospel, and that's what I look for, the early stuff. So I'd have to. I don't know if I could find it. Just like with all vinyl guys, mine are not alphabetized or categorized. I also listen to a lot of international music, like
Mm,
Indian, Pakistani, just well recorded stuff. I listen to a lot of things.
I love it, man. Well cultured. Maybe we can have you back on the show sometime just to talk
Great,
vinyl.
that'd be great. Love to.
Gary, I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work you invest in putting together a community event. And thanks so much for taking time to talk with us today
Great.
and for all the heart and work you put into making Capital Audio Fest what it is. We
Thank you.
really, really, really appreciate you.
No, thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. And for the folks watching, Vinyl Latte will be at Capital Audio Fest. You'll see us there. We'll also have Josh joining us, which you saw him at the Expo. You guys really like Josh tagging along. So he's coming back to join us at Capital Audio Fest. And if you've
Good.
never been to CAF before, I really do hope this gives you a taste of what makes it special. It's more than just gears and gadgets, guys. It's about music, community, and connection, just like Gary said earlier. So what we'll do is we'll drop the links to the show in the description of this video. So if you want to learn more or plan your visit, we're going to make it real simple for you. Just click that link. And for those that have been to CAF before, let us know your favorite memory. Let us know your favorite listening room. We'd love to hear it. Please put that in the comments. And thank you guys for watching.
See you in a couple months.